Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Wabyll. Welcome back to Wab's Lab. If you've been watching the recent episodes, you'll know that I have been spending some time working with villagers so I can get a load of enchanted books and make my stuff even better. But I want to know what makes the best stuff. So, there's too much to experiment with in one episode. Just one of these experiments, there's 4,000 tests to do. That is not an exaggeration. So I have split things up into 6 categories. Things that go on the sword, things that, well, the protection that goes on armor, other stuff that goes on armor, generic things, stuff for ranged weapons, and stuff for fishing. And let's find out what we're doing today. Bows. So we are going to be looking at 3 different enchantments for bows: impaling, piercing, and punch. So how far back does punch actually send things? With the piercing, how many mobs can we pierce through? And of course, with impaling, I want to know just how much does the damage increase by. We probably should put power in here as well. So yeah, we'll put power in here as well. We're going to see how much damage is increased by. Let's do some experiments. So, here's how this first test is going to work. We're starting off with punch. We're going to see how far does a mob move when hit with a bow at no punch, 1 punch, and 2 punch. So we've got skeletons holding each of those bows. As you can see at the top, we've got my coordinates down to 5 decimal places. So we're going to get pretty accurate results. I'm going to break the glass. We'll see where we land. I'll replace the glass. I'll move on to the next skeleton. And we'll get our distances. So, number 1. Okay. Wasn't too far, but I've got the distances. I can enter these into the spreadsheet in just a moment. Let's to the next one, which I believe should be like that. So I'm starting off at a good base point each time. Punch 1. That was quite a bit further. We'll get the full results in just a moment. Let's do one more. Get the punch 2 results. Oh, that shot me far. Okay, I'm going to figure out those results. We'll be right back. We had to redo that last test. I started moving way too quickly. We didn't get a good result. But now I've got a good result. As I said, I redid it. Science is important. And of course, I've calculated the result, so simple bit of Pythagoras. Without any punch, it pushed me pretty much a block, 0.98696 blocks. With punch 1, 2.81899 blocks. We're going to 5 decimal places because that's what I'm measuring to. And then punch 2, 4.51121. So essentially, 1 block, 3 blocks, 2 3/4 blocks, 4.5 blocks. That is the punch experiment. I think now piercing could be really fun to do, so let's experiment with piercing. On to the piercing experiment. This should be nice and simple. We have a line of 20 zombies here, all on 1 hit point. At the end of each experiment, I come along, press this button. It kills all the zombies, kills all of their drops, and summons in a load of new zombies, all silenced because the noise was getting unbearable. And then I have 5 crossbows, 1 without any piercing, piercing 1, piercing 2, piercing 3, and piercing 4. We will shoot them 5 times for each bow and see how many zombies we kill. I have no idea how piercing works, so this is going to be interesting. Okay, so without, we kill 1, which is fairly expected, but we'll do it another 5 times just in case. I've also got this so I can make sure I'm the same distance away each time in case that makes a difference. So that is the second shot. 3. Still just killing 1 of them. Same again, and then final one without any piercing on the bow. Okay, so without any piercing, you always kill one. That's fairly expected. How much further does it go when you got piercing? One on the bow. Okay, so we killed two there. It could just be adding one each time. That is a possibility. Same again. Two down. I am noticing a pattern. I think it is just it goes one further each time. So I believe that was our third shot. I'm not entirely sure. It might have been our fourth. But we're going to say that was our fourth shot with the piercing one bow. I mean, if nothing else, this is very satisfying. So then on to piercing two. If I'm correct, this should kill three of them. Made a prediction, ran the test, got the results. This is science in action, folks. So then, third shot still killing three. I wonder what's going to happen when we get on to piercing three. It would be amazing if it suddenly sped up. So all of a sudden, when you get to piercing four, you're killing 10 of them. I think that was the last one for piercing two. So on to piercing three. The prediction is, of course, we should kill four of them. Nice. Oh, this is a great experiment. It's fun. It's cheery. We get to kill zombies. Nice and easy to get the results. Don't click on the command blocks. 4. And 5. So now we're on to piercing 4. So if this doesn't kill 5 of them, I'll be very surprised. Because we're going one further each time. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. I like experiments where you can just do a nice and easy... First of all, a nice easy way to collect the results, but also a nice and simple prediction. But I think we can safely say each level of piercing goes through one extra mob. But we're going to do this one more time, partly because that's what I said I would do, and partly for the fun of it. Whee! So now in theory, I've got 20 in a row. That is the second shot. The third shot, and then with this shot, we should have no more zombies. Lovely. I'm going to figure out what our next experiment is going to be. On to the final experiment. This time for both bows and tridents, we're going to be looking at power, and we're going to be looking at impaling at the same time. Because power increases the damage of arrows, and impaling increases trident damage against aquatic mobs. Supposedly. So we've got 5 drowned, 5 zombies, 4 each type. We're going to do them completely plain. At level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. I'm going to find out how much damage they've been taken. How much damage they've been taken. I'm going to find out how much damage each mob has taken. And learn how to speak English. But in the meantime, it is time to shoot. So each of these mobs has been summoned in with 20 hit points. They are silent, they're not going to despawn. So I can get the experiment done and then collect the data afterwards. This is going to take a little while. So, yeah. Well, now that that's all done, we can collect the results. As you would have seen there, some of these guys died when they were on 20 hit points, so I summoned them in again with twice as many hit points, just so we can get some proper results. Everybody else did well, so what I'm going to be looking for is how much does the damage increase here, and here is there a disparity in how much it increases between the drowned and the zombies. So I'm going to get that data collected, and we'll see what we get. So I've learned some things. We'll ignore the impaling for now. But with the power, we do indeed get a bit of an increase. It seems to me that there's not much of a difference between level 1 and level 2, not much of a difference between level 3 and level 4. So I think if you've got an even numbered level, great. If you've got an odd numbered level, maybe it's not worth combining those books. But then we come on to impaling with the trident, where I've learned something that has shaken me to my core. So first of all, with non-aquatic mobs, the amount of damage doesn't increase at all, which was kind of expected. But the second thing I learned is that drowned do not count as aquatic mobs. So I need to redo the test. I'm going to turn these into little tanks, pick an aquatic mob, possibly a squid, I think that could be quite funny, give them 20 hit points, and we're going to do this experiment again. But yeah, drowned aren't aquatic mobs, but they live in the water. They should be aquatic mobs. Why are they not aquatic mobs? The squid are going wild, and I got to admit, it's kind of fun to watch. Just every now and then they start going out from their cage and then they go back in. It has made it awkward to find out how much health they have, but it's amazing. Let's get to the results, and there is an interesting thing I've noticed between the bow and the trident. So the bow, you'll see we've got some horrible looking numbers over here. Lots of decimal places. But that's mainly just due to averages, and they go down weird numbers of hit points. Whereas on the other side, it's not too bad. You may also notice that the number for the zombies doesn't change. It's always 7.872. Because the trident deals the same amount of damage each time. There is no randomness, whereas there is with the bow and arrow. Which does make the picture a bit clearer. I imagine it's actually going to be a very similar thing with power, but it's just because it's random and we've got a fairly small sample size, it can be difficult to spot. But with this, as I said, the zombies always 7.872, even if we've got impaling 5, but the squid get 2.5 more hit points of damage dealt every time. Always a jump of 2.5 hit points. So that's impaling and power done. We've also dealt with piercing and with punch. I'm going to get this thing edited and see if there's any time for another experiment. Well, we have time for one more experiment, something that we didn't have on our list earlier. Riptide. So we have 3 pools of water in front of us because you get propelled when you're standing in water. I think you get propelled faster when you're submerged in water, but I also want to see if you're submerged in deeper water, does that still slow you down when you're being propelled by a trident? So that's why we have our coordinates and our speed, because we're looking at speed, but also how high do we end up going. It does mean I'm going to have to record the whole thing, because I'm not going to be able to see the numbers as they change that quickly, but I can go and look at the individual frames in my editing software. So, a nice simple thing. We stand in the water, we look straight up, and we throw. And we're going to do each one 5 times. It's not going to be that interesting to watch, so we're not even going to do a time lapse of this one because you're just going to see the sun the entire time. Okay, the results for this experiment are fascinating. Because there is a formula online for this. It says if you are standing in water then you will be propelled 6 times the level of riptide plus 3. So that is if you're in 1 block of water or if you're in the rain, something like that. So 6 times 1 plus 3 is 9, 6 times 2 plus 3 is 15, etc, etc. And if you're underwater, 4 times the level plus 3. That is how far you should be propelled for each one. Now, when we were stood in 1 block of water, remember we're expecting 9, 15 and 21. We would expect to go a little bit further because that's just how far you're propelled, but this is quite a considerable distance further for each one of them. So there's something weird going on there. Then for 2 blocks of water, again, quite a considerable distance further, especially for 3. We went twice as far, and I should point out, this isn't just the Y level I went to, I was also adding on the height for where I started. So it's all taken into account, everything is evened out, but also we can see, standing in water we are going further than when we are completely submerged. Now this is where things get really interesting, because I also wanted to see, is being deeper underwater slowing you down at all? So for when we were under 4 blocks of water, you can see at level 1, we didn't go as high. At level 2, we didn't go as high. But at level 3, we went exactly as high. So I don't know if that's just because we got propelled so quickly that we were out of the water before it had time to start calculating how fast we were slowing down. Because then, of course, the other thing is, how fast were we moving when we let go of the trident? Because presumably, these formulas imply that it's a different amount of propulsion whether you're just standing in water or whether you're fully submerged. So, when we're standing in 1 block of water, 29.9, 44.9, 59.9. So essentially, we're going another 15 faster each time. Same for 2 blocks, same for 4 blocks. Riptide propels you at exactly the same speed, no matter what. It then just comes down to air resistance. So, the Wikipedia is wrong. Which I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting to disprove the wiki, but that is all I have time for. If you liked the episode, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. My name is Weird and Bearded, and I will see you all next time.